usually when we do this type of thing. And of course, we're going to keep asking the skull questions. It may be a better way for us to utilize this technology too. We didn't work out all the bugs because we wanted to experiment with it tonight. So it may be better the next time, I guess. But in the meantime, we seem to so what am I doing here? Okay, so we got to go to another one of these. What's going on, Ron? You coming in?
No, I just want to say hi, everybody.
Well, Ron, we're doing On Beyond now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so...
You did a great job tonight.
You thought so? Thank you. We work out all the bugs because we wanted to experiment. Hold on a second. That's so it may be better. Hold on a second. This video is starting without me. But in the meantime, okay, there we go. It happened. I don't know what's going on. No, it's okay. No, this damn video. And it was doing the same thing with the technology we were using. It just seems to be repeating itself because the computer is like, I gotta think for a minute before I do it.
That's why I go on Windows and I mute all of my browsers except for one that I know I can use to play clips on YouTube.
Yeah.
So maybe
well, this happens a lot with the skull around.
Now, what are you guys saying? You're having a lot of tension with the skull earlier. What's going on with that? Bill, go on. You need your mic on.
Oh, I got it for him.
Oh, God. Okay. What's going on? You said they were saying some strange stuff's been going on. What's going on?
Well, there's a lot of energy in the air. When that happens, you have to really watch where you're thinking because we found a lot of things coming up, in a very strange way. You've been seeing it. This goes backwards. This goes on. This stops, and we just had a little trouble getting here.
So you were having trouble getting here. We're having we're having technical stuff tonight going on. It's crazy, but yeah, we're having a lot of technical stuff going on, and we're working out all the bugs. But we were talking earlier, Carol, about the chaos. And we're talking about, the skull said, hell will come down unless we change, and that it's saying it's just going to get darker because, and it gave the date around Christmas Eve of this happening. There's going to be a conjunction with some of the planets at that time. So, it's going to get darker before the dawn, obviously. There's going to be some things going on that I'm sure that we have no control over.
Oh, but we do. Oh, but we do.
So what do we do?
Whenever the skull predicted anything, it more or less said, and actually you have to read the book, and because I haven't read it, but people tell me what it says, and it always said, this is the program. If you want to change it, then you change it. In other words, we're up here looking down here. You're down there. Now change it. And the skull says of itself that it is a receptacle of mind programmed by 12 or 13 of the Atlantean masters without personality. With other words, it gives straight information without giving you their opinions on things. And it also predicted so much that was, at the time, we didn't understand because it was obviously for these times. But its main focus was those of like minds will be gathered together and will be drawn to the crystal skull. Those of like minds, when working together, can change any negativity to positive. Now, how many of us in our daily life take 2 minutes to send out calming, peaceful, good, whichever positive thought to the actual planet itself? We don't.
Let's ask the skull. I'm going to ask the skull a question. How do we lift ourselves? How do we lift ourselves out of this morass of darkness? Skull, speak to us. I don't hear it. Are we on?
It's on.
Is it on?
Let me check the device.
Yeah, check the device to see because it doesn't seem to be working. So
let's ask Carol that question.
We could ask Carol
while we're waiting.
Is it on or off?
It was on. I got to reboot it 1 second.
Okay.
Because it's been on all night. So
yeah, we've had that problem before with rebooting the software that this thing works. But
how do we lift ourselves?
Yeah, how do we lift ourselves out of this?
Looks like it got bumped.
Okay.
Okay. So go ahead, Clyde. Ask the question again so it has a chance to answer.
Okay. Let's ask the white device and see. Okay. So See, it's kind of casual. So we're not on the air. So we're just kind of casually doing this because people are listening online. So how do we lift ourselves out of this morass of darkness, Skull? Please tell us now. What'd you say? Lift yourself up. It needs to be louder, I think. It's not loud enough.
Adjusted.
Please do. I don't know why it was working fine. See, again, we have these technical difficulties. Working fine when we were on the air, and now we have to adjust the sound so it's louder. Okay, is it loud enough now? Let's ask the Skull again.
Unless someone bumped the...
How do we lift ourselves out of this morass of darkness, Skull? Tell us. What'd you say? Say it again. Lift you up to the heavens, you said? Up to the heavens, I think it said. Up to the heavens, yes. We want to lift ourselves up to the heavens, correct? It said blast off. Does that mean we go into space? Is that what you're saying? We need to go into space or something? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Wow.
It was an echoing yes.
Wow.
Almost like a yep.
So we should be focusing on outer space. What do you think of that, Carol? What do you think?
Interesting.
Yeah. We need to go to the heavens. We need to explore outer space.
Well, yes, because what is going to come from outer space when when your governments decide to say, yes, well, we've been having these UFOs coming in all the time.
Right.
Maybe it's telling you in its way there that to get out of this mess is to the government is going to have to release information concerning extraterrestrial life and the fact that they're around us, and that will help us a lot. But also, when you ask the question, the Skull answer to me, your mind is free will. So if you allow your mind to be occupied with the negativity that surrounds you, then you add energy to that negativity.
So, it's speaking of, you were speaking of the aliens, the extraterrestrials, and everything, and we all wonder if disclosure is imminent. Let's ask the Skull this question, are we going to find out for certain within the next few months or maybe a year that we are not alone?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I heard probably.
Said probably. Probably.
That's
okay,
great.
that's great. Probably. It gave us the probably. So it's highly probable it's going to happen.
Yes.
Well, sure. Okay, we're going to go to some calls quickly. Let's go to let's go to David in Tennessee. Hi, David. You're on Ground Zero.
Hi, Clyde.
Yes, go ahead.
How you doing? Well, sorry, you caught me by surprise there. Hey, long-time listener, first-time caller. They say get right to it, so I will. Earlier you were talking about these dark personality traits. Mm-hmm. What did you call it?
The dark triad. Dark triad personality.
The dark triad.
Yeah.
What is that exactly? We've got narcissism,
Machiavellianism, and psychopathy.
Okay, and then
so you're narcissistic, you're plotting, and you're a psychopath.
You see, our problem is that we're treating them with a negative energy, surrounding them with negative energy, and you're saying that doesn't work, and asking for a new.
Right, we're feeding in the negative energy with our own form of dark triad energy. Yeah.
This may be in a very specific situation in these kinds of people, and it may be in strict circumstances, but something I read that kind of connected in my brain when you were talking about this, something I read the other day was that scientists somewhere doing more experimenting with chemical compounds like LSD and MDMA for treating such things as all kinds of different things. To me, a breakdown of the ego with LSD and a flush of empathy with the MDMA might be the types of things to counter.
Well, I think you missed our show where we talked about the mood pill, where they're proposing a mood pill where everybody takes a pill, and like Huxley said, we're all slaves to chemicals.
Brave New World.
Yeah, Brave New World. So, I mean, they're proposing this, and it sounds like it's in the works, creating this pill. They also probably want to use lithium in the water supply. They're thinking about using lithium because they're afraid that more people are going to commit suicide in the future.
And see, would we not? And would this not be like a false sort of? This sounds great. They keep giving us these ideas and the solutions. They sound so great. They're obvious. This is the way to go. But then, what are we leading to? What are we heading toward?
Chemical enslavement by government. It's chemical enslavement and programming. That's what they're heading for. They want us to be part of this herd mentality. They want us to be part of the hive, and that's the thing. And you heard what Carol said. It's about free will. It's about the idea of utilizing free will. And I think we're forgetting that we have free will. I think we're forgetting that we have discernment, and this is very important to what we're doing. Would you agree, Carol?
Yes, absolutely.
Certainly. Let's go to Bob in Massachusetts. Hi, Bob. You're on Beyond Zero. Go ahead.
Hey, Clyde. I was listening on the phone and it restarted the show, so it might be a little behind on.
No, you're not behind on anything. We're doing this online. You're listening to the your feedback, the playback of the show that's on the local right now. So what you're on is you're on our feed on the internet right now.
So it was probably like a year and a half ago. You had the skull on and you touched it and touched the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And I put my hand on the radio at the same time.
Right.
And it talked to me. It said a lot of stuff to me. It told me a lot of stuff about me, and it told me a lot of stuff about it. And the crystal skull is basically it's a quantum device. It's a conscious thing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have tool marks on it because it wasn't made. It was grown.
Mm-hmm.
The crystal skull, the real crystal skulls are grown, and it's grown with a consciousness within it. It was originally put here to be a teaching device, a communication device, because all of the crystal skulls, which are all around the world, can connect with each other. But it was also put here as a defense device for the planet.
A defense device. Would you agree, Bill? Is a defense device?
Well, I'd like him to explain it a little more.
It's the crystal skull and all 13 crystal skulls are all around the world. Now, what it said was some of them are in the possession of people. The other crystal skulls that we've heard of around the world, those are not part of the 13 crystal skulls. None of the ones that have been found so far. They might have some power within them, a consciousness within them, but they're not part of the 13 crystal skulls. Some are in possession of people. Other ones might have been lost because they were found over time, and I know one that was pointed out to me went down in a shipwreck somewhere in the Pacific. So that might never be found. But they were put here, and when needed, they could defend the planet against, like, meteors or other catastrophic things coming from space or happening around the world. They would activate and act as a defense system. But they also communicated with each other. So the high priest or whoever was operating it in Lubantum could talk to someone in Egypt or in somewhere in Asia, or,
So the communication tools, again, and their defense systems, as they warn us of incoming problems that may erupt, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Very interesting. Well, and that's why...
The problem is the skulls have all been moved, and they were set up in places that were energy points around the world. Lubantum wasn't its energy point. There was another temple that the skull would have been brought to, possibly in the White City. I don't know. It didn't say that. It did say that it was within like a few days' walk of Lubantum. Lubantum was kind of like its summer home. That's where it went to relax.
Interesting. So you got all this the last time the skull was here, though?
What?
You got this the last time the skull was here? You got all this information?
When you touched the skull and touched the microphone, I touched my radio, and it told me all this within seconds.
Right.
It also told me about some stuff in my life and why it was happening. Because I had a few events happen that were, you could say, were of a paranormal nature.
Did it help
And
you?
It told me why those things were happening to me. Yeah.
Okay, they helped you then, right?
It actually stopped a lot of it.
Well, good. That's good to hear. Well, Bob, thank you for calling on Beyond Zero tonight. We appreciate you calling in. Let's go to Mike in Washington. Hi, Mike. You're on Beyond Zero. Go ahead. Hi, Mike. You're on Beyond Zero.
Just a quick
Don't listen
question.
to your radio.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to ask you to ask the skull about the god Inky, if he misses talking to Inky, and also about CERN.
Okay, well, what do you know? What do you want to know about CERN? What do you want to know about CERN?
What it thinks about it, but what it thinks about CERN, but more so what it thinks about the god Inky.
Okay, well, first let's ask about CERN. So Crystal Skull, what is it that you think about CERN? I don't like it? Did you say I don't like it? Nope, don't like it. It doesn't like CERN. What is it about CERN you don't like? Hello? I said, what don't you like about CERN? I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Did you hear it say I don't trust it? I don't trust it, it said. What about your relationship? What about your relationship with the god Inky? What is your relationship with the god Inky? I didn't get anything out of that. What is your relationship with the god Inky? Try that again. Something I'm crazy. Something you're. It said you're. What's it? What? Okay.
You're not talking.
It said something about. I think you're crazy. Okay. Why do you think I'm crazy? Tell me why. Tell me why. We're
gonna
getting
threaten.
Yeah, threatening something. Threatening what? Threatening what? I don't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to talk about it, Mike.
Let's try. Ask Carol.
Carol, what about the relationship with Inky in your opinion?
I don't think that whoever programmed the skull had any ideas about Inky.
I know. It doesn't seem like the skull wants to respond to it. So it especially with the technology we have, is trying to say, you must be crazy. You know, what are you talking about? So, yeah, Mike, there's nothing there really about Inky.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to bother you guys with it. It's just, to me, when I look back, that's some of the oldest texts ever written on the planet. So I just was curious as to what the skull would think about it.
Well, the skull obviously doesn't have an opinion, but it did have an opinion about CERN.
You have to understand.
Yeah, maybe it thought I was crazy, perhaps.
No, didn't think you were crazy.
It's not that.
No, not at all.
If you think of the crystal skull as a far in advance computer, and it's been programmed by people or by beings that basically know exactly what is going to happen, how many years it's been ahead of time.
Right.
Now they put all this information on a piece of crystal that's the size of your small fingernail. So when we ask questions and of a machine like, what do you think of Inky? You have to, as the skull has said, may I look at your thought patterns? Because it doesn't know what you mean by think. What do you think of Inky? If you had, if you think about when you're using a computer, if you don't exactly hit the keys right and type in the question correctly, you're going to get 15 answers. And then you have to type in another 5 until you get the one that you like. And the skull is kind of like that. If you ask it in a different manner, for instance, was it aware of these writings? You would get an answer.
Well, and
would
that's
say
the thing.
yes.
There could be, we could be looking at something. It doesn't even have a relationship with Inky. That's the thing. Is that, he says, well, I've read all the old things that talks about Inky, but maybe the skull has no relationship with Inky. We assume that if the skull exists, it has a relationship with something. Same with how we perceive aliens. We think that, they're advanced in certain ways, but in reality, they're not advanced in certain ways. It's like we're speaking on behalf of ourselves on a more, I guess you'd call it androcentric type of way, when in reality, the skull is not androcentric in that regard. So,
Yeah, exactly.
that's the thing that, I think is interesting. Let's go to Michael in Texas. Hi, Michael. You're on Ground Zero. Go ahead on Beyond Zero.
Hey, Clyde, how you doing?
Good.
Good. I just sorry I wasn't able to see the live show. Is the Crystal Skull?
We're live
still
right
there?
now. What's that?
Is the Crystal Skull still there?
Yes, it is. It's still there. We were hanging behind. We're on Beyond Zero right now on Facebook. So go ahead.
Awesome. I just wanted to ask it. What is the nature of this reality? Is this something that really counts, or is this something a game or a program or?
Okay, you're saying what is the nature of reality? Meaning what? You think that? I mean, I don't know exactly what you mean. The nature of this reality.
Well, maybe it's a hologram.
Okay, why don't we just ask
mind,
it? Why don't we just ask it? Crystal Skull, is the nature of reality a hologram? Is this a hologram? Yes, I just heard yes.
Okay.
It's a hologram. It's an image. It's something that's. Is it prepping us for something? Are we being prepared for something? No.
No.
I'm not being prepared for something. It said.
So this life is kind of there's not like a greater good being done here.
Well, is there something greater to be done here? Is there something greater that we're supposed to be doing here? Is there something greater we're supposed to be doing here? Wow. Yes, okay, so you're confusing me. You're saying is yes a greater we're supposed to do here, and what is that? So that you don't, it said I didn't understand. I know I don't understand, that's why I'm asking. What is the greater good that we live for? I'm not understanding it. I just don't understand what it's saying.
Love.
Carol, and you answer the
I
question.
think I heard love.
Did you hear love? Was it love that you were saying? Let's
yes.
ask it love again. Is it love you were saying? Because I didn't hear anything. Is it love? Yes. Relationship. Love and relationships. Yes, love and relationships. Yep, you're right. It said love and relationships.
That's why we're here.
Yep, for love and relationships. That's pretty good. It's pretty darn good. Love and relationships. What was I going to ask it? I wanted to ask it one last thing. Oh, okay. I wanted to ask it this. There's all kinds of rumors that we're going to be seeing a lot of extraterrestrial activity. And I'm not talking about aliens. I'm talking about asteroids. I'm talking about meteors. I'm talking about all this. Crystal Skull, should we be prepared for asteroids or meteors or anything coming from the sky within the next 3 months? So you're saying that we should be concerned? Yes, you should. It said, yes, you should. Yes, you should be concerned. So we should be concerned about things coming towards the planet in the next few months. So interesting things going on, Carol.
Certainly.
Yeah, certainly. So are there any last words before we close down? Because it's getting late and we're going to get ready to go. So Any last words, Carol, before we leave?
Well, from what I've learned from the skull, our purpose here is to bring this small blue planet back into the light being that of knowledge, and remembering that the blue planet is here for balance in the universe, and that's what makes it so important. When we lost the other moon, and if you don't know what, you'll have to read the book. We were a planet that had two moons, and unfortunately one didn't